Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 43 of the unofficial Rogue Company podcast, Broguecast. I'm here with Co-Reed.
I'm here with Dirt Lord.
I'm here with Garbo.
And I'm here with Griffin.
And this is the Rogue Company podcast, bringing you all the news that you need to know about Rogue Company. And we're going to start off hot and heavy here with the Mad Mercenaries mid-patch balance PTS notes. So we finally get some update information for what is essentially the mid-season update patch for the Mad Mercenaries Battle Pass for the Mad Mercenaries season. And it's very interesting. So just so everyone is aware, if you look in-game right now, I guess if we look in-game right now, it may change by the time this comes out. But if you look at the Battle Pass length that is showing, it's like 15 days left. It is going to be extended. The Battle Pass is going to be extended. The season is going to be extended. So this is going to be the mid-season patch. So with that in mind, designer notes on balancing for 2023. Now, I think that this is very interesting and very crucial information here. And I think it tells us a lot of information without telling us a lot of information, if that makes sense. 2023 is the year of gameplay for Rogue Company. This means we intend on rolling out more balance changes. These balance changes are a combination of handling the pain points of our current balance and to run experiments that drive Rogue Company in a stronger direction. We have a guiding star for this year, more defined and stronger identities across the board. While we will maintain the combat core that we are proud of, we will look at every element around it, such as rogues, weapons, perks, loadouts, etc., to find opportunities to refresh and strengthen their identities. Every balance patch will be an incremental experiment to get us there, and we look forward to going on this journey together with our players. Note, as you play on PTS, if you have feedback to share, we encourage you to relay it to use via socials and the public Discord. So, with that being said, I think that gives us a ton of information right out of the gate, saying that they're going to roll out more balance changes, and they're a combination of handling the pain points of our current balance and to run experiments that drive Rogue Company in a stronger direction. So, I think what they mean by that is what are the issues that most players or the majority of players having currently with how the game is balanced, and where can we direct our attention and our balancing to make the game a more pleasurable experience for not only seasoned players but also newer players that's just hopping into the game. And then also with experiments that drive Rogue Company in a stronger direction, that leads me to believe that there's going to be some really weird or interesting things that's going to be happening that's kind of out of left field or out of the norm that is going to hopefully create what they said in this article here, stronger identities. And that makes me very excited because we've talked about this in the past numerous times about how Rogue Company has an identity issue. The rogues have an identity issue because weapon mastery kind of stripped them away from a lot of their identity. So with them looking at finding ways to introduce more identifiable attributes into the game for the rogues, for the weapons, for the perks, for the loadouts is very, very interesting. And I'm very excited to see what they have in store. I mean, nothing has been shaken up in this way since I would say weapon mastery has been introduced, right? That happened after the TTK change happened. So I mean, this is going to be something that's going to be very interesting from the ground floor up, that we're going to be able to witness what type of experiments that they're going to be running. So I'm excited about that. So for our rogue changes, Mac is having his passive ability kind of nerfed a little bit here. So the standard issue passive is going to reduce the amount of armor recovered when downing enemies from 25 down to 15. I don't mind this change. I mean, Mac is pretty strong, right? So and being able to buy armor on top of it and essentially repairing all of your armor if you don't take damage and you're able to down someone it's insane, dude. So I think that this will probably put him in a little bit more of a balanced state, in my opinion, because if you down someone to get 25, you're going to have to down 2 people. To get the whole 50, you're going to have to down 4 people. And that's why you're taking damage whenever, like, Mac really shows his strengths whenever you're playing respawn game modes, where people are just kind of like mindlessly running after you or running at you, and you can just mow them down and be armored back up and ready to regain your HP and stuff. So he's just a menace in respawn game modes, in my opinion.
Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, it's Mac the Menace, dude. Come on. So for cannon, they're replacing C4 with frag grenades. They're replacing rare helping hands with rare blaster. They're replacing epic bulletproof with epic tenacity, and they're replacing legendary tenacity with legendary bulletproof. Cannon gonna be broke.
Yeah, he's already strong as hell.
He's already strong, yeah.
Yeah, he's strong, dude. Like, I mean, dude, his cannon comes out, he pulls out that Gatling gun, dude. It's pretty much over.
Murder train's coming.
If it's not over, it's very close.
Yeah. So if we go, I'm going to go onto the Rogue Company wiki here real quick and look up cannon on here. So cannon currently has a 2 speed and a 5 toughness. And then legendary bulletproof. So epic bulletproof is 10% less firearm damage to the body. So I think legendary is 15%. I think. Hold on. Does Juke have legendary bulletproof? Yeah, 15%. So you're taking 15%. You're taking 9% damage reduction from like your base level rogues based off of the toughness, and then you're taking 15% on top of that from the perk, and then your epic tenacity is going to give you, I think it's maybe 30 or 60% explosive damage reduction, and then a legendary life drain on top of that, and stems and shotgun and assault rifle. Like, dude,
It's a little much.
it's a lot. And here's the thing, man. Like, Cannon's not a bad rogue. Like, he's big, he's bulky. He doesn't have a lot of the same positives that like Anvil or Mac have. Like, Mac has the ability to gain armor back and stack armor, things like that. Anvil has legendary armor, and I think legendary life drain, and is a 5 toughness, has light machine guns and shotguns, has the shields. Cannon, like the shields are good. Mac's passive ability is really good. Anvil's passive ability, if you're playing against a flashbang heavy team, is really, really good. It's kind of niche, but it's better than I would say Anvil's ability and passive ability is better than both Cannon's ability and passive ability, and I think Mac's passive ability is better than both of those characters. You know what I mean? Because like being able to regain your armor when you down someone is insane compared to like you don't gain any benefits if nobody's running flashes if you're playing with Anvil, and then Cannon's passive is like you regain ammo whenever you shoot people occasionally. To me, they could like make that percentage make more sense, or up that percentage on his passive to where it feels like it's something that's actually benefiting you, as opposed to like, oh, I got 1 extra bullet back out of firing a clip that's got 40 bullets in it. Like, you know, sometimes you don't feel the benefits of the passive ability for Cannon like you do some of the others. And then like his gun is really, really, really good, but so many people have learned how to play around it. Like, there's so many counters to it. Like, he's very exposed. He moves a lot slower. You can mount it or you can crouch with it, but then you're stuck in one location whenever you do that. You can EMP him, you can glitch hack him, you can flash him, you can tear gas him. Like, it's got a lot of hard counters to the Gatling gun, right? So this, I think it's gonna put Cannon in that S tier for me moving forward. Like, he's always been really good, and people just don't like playing him because of kind of how bulky he is. And then the C4, yeah, replacing that with a frag grenade makes sense. Like, the C4 is kind of, you know, situational and not as reliable as like the frag grenade or Simtex, but he's gonna be a tank, dude. So with Cannon, I mean, getting a lot of changes I mean, what do you guys think? Is he going to be broken? They going to have to revert some of these changes, you think?
He'll be
Yeah,
on it.
at least some of them, maybe.
I think if anything, they may drop either legendary bulletproof down for him or legendary life drain. I mean, he's going to be tanky. He's going to be especially with stems. And here's the thing: like that would be a good trade off, in my opinion, if they took the stems away from him and gave him like EMPs or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not enough people that have like EMPs or tear gas. There's a couple of those weird like lethal or non-lethal gadgets that a lot of people don't have access to that I would like to see kind of slot in some of these other rogues, you know?
That would make sense too, because like for real, at the end of the day, if they're going to knock up his bulletproof and everything, they need to find something that like balances it out. And him having a drilling shot on top of everything else would, yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be a nice little change of some kind. Yeah, that maybe they could do EMPs because only Dima and Scorch have EMPs besides the glitch hack, so we have to depend on those characters. That'd be nice to have another character like that. So yeah, that'd be pretty. That'd be a cool addition if they ever come to fruition with that.
Yeah. And not only that, but like how many times have you went to EMP someone and you've accidentally EMP'd yourself?
Oh yeah, many.
So
I still do it. What are you talking
Most
about?
every
Yeah.
time.
Or
Yeah.
EMP you, Griffin, because you're always running where I'm throwing much at you.
So I think it would be a good trade off because, like, I mean, most people EMP themselves. A lot of people EMP themselves when they use it. So, like, he's not going to be able to pull the gun out immediately. You know what I mean? It's going to give him a delay. So,
Just for people that are just getting good at the game or learning at the game, they're like, "Oh, I just EMP myself." It's like, well, there's something you gotta learn, buddy.
yeah,
We're all
right.
grouped up.
Yeah, yeah.
The other cannon though knows what he's doing, so he pulls it out and he just
Yeah.
murder trains are coming.
So for Kestrel, they're nerfing the diameter radius of her drone swarm blast from 8 meters down to 7 meters. So when they buff Kestrel, they increase the radius from 6 meters to 8 meters. They also buff the damage of it as well from like 45 to I think 65 damage per hit. In my opinion, the original changes that happened to Kestrel a couple of updates ago, they only needed to buff one of those two things, but they buffed both of them. Now, Kestrel is really, really powerful and really, really
sure.
She's really forgiven when you use her Halo drones because of the size of the explosion radius. So this, reducing it from 8 to 7 makes sense. One thing that I would like to see them do, like the damage at the edges of the circle. Like, so whenever you pull the birds out to cast, you see the edge of the circle. If they reduce the fall off astronomically on that to where you felt like you needed to buy blaster, I feel like that would balance her out in a way where it would be economy based balance as opposed to, well, we're going to nerf the damage and the radius of it. Like, just make the edges of that explosion where if you get hit with one and you roll out to the edge of it, maybe you don't get downed by that second one. But if she has blaster, it'll do full damage all the way to the edges of the circle, you know? That's what I think. I mean, this is a good change, but like, she's still going to be really powerful, you know?
Yeah, but what you even said, like, it's very forgiving. Like, you can literally make a mistake and somebody just die from it.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like, so it does make sense that they're lowering the radius. I mean, what was the original side of the radius? Like 5 meters? It wasn't that big, was it? It was really small.
Yeah, it was 6. Then they moved it to 8. Now it's going down to 7.
Okay, well, maybe it should have been 7 all along, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like this is going to be a good change. I mean, we were complaining at one point about just because her kit is just so unique and, like, you have to depend on her utilities more and stuff like that as a character, so maybe that's why they did it. But at the end of the day, they have definitely made her a powerful character, and they might have to do some more changes for real.
Yeah. I mean, Kestrel was fine, in my opinion, whenever you could carry, or whenever you upgraded your gadgets, you got 2 stems.
Yeah, that's what I was. Well, now we don't even get 2 stems. So.
Exactly. And now you can rely on the one stem that goes on cooldown unless you hit the runway briefcase, but you can't stack the two. You can't pick any up off of the ground. And she doesn't have any. I mean, I think she's got a low level life drain, so it's like it's her survivability that makes her. It's where she needed to be adjusted, other than the drones, in my opinion. I think that 6 meters was okay. I think that maybe buff them up originally from 45 damage to 65 damage per shot, because playing Kestrel at that time, whenever it was way less damage, way less radius, she was like, her ability was almost useless. Like, I used it more as a lane deterrent than I did as something to try to down people with, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it wasn't doing enough damage. Like, it required all 3 drones to hit, and then the radius wasn't big enough to even take them out, so they would just escape out of it. So yeah, maybe if they just kept the damage 45 and keep the radius 8 meters, but I mean, that's probably not going to be the case here. I mean, because again, at the end of the day, dude, do you really want to depend on all 3 drones to get it down? It would feel better if you get 2 of them, and then maybe in a way, one person's like running into the drone and gets hit by the second one, then the third one. So that's how you get your multiple kills with it. Instead of like, you know what I mean? Just a whole. I get it that all the drones just cause a lot of disruption sometimes, and like it damages everybody. It may not knock them, but it'll get them all weak. But like, still, when you're using that ability, it's almost like the same concept as the Demon Blast or the Switchblade. Like, rocket, you want them to be able to just knock them down. Like, you're not wanting it just to close down a lane. If you were wanting it to be like a suppressed character, you would have built it more like a Vi character or a trench character, not an explosive character that's meaning to engage in a combat like that.
Right. And you're absolutely right on that. And what's crazy is like it shoots 5 drones out.
Yeah.
And like once you see the explosion radius of the first 2, then everybody is one, unless you respawn and like round a corner and it just happens to be exploding there and you don't know about it. Like it's almost like reduce the amount of drones from like 5 to 3, make them do more damage, and have the blast radius be pretty large with some steep fall offs to the edges, because after the first 1 or 2 hit, then it's a lane denial at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a lane denial at that point. I think 3 would be perfect. I mean, 3 is a nice number.
Yeah.
I feel like at the end of the day.
So, and then it says here that they'll continue to observe her and make adjustments in future releases. So, there may be some additional Kestrel changes in the pipeline that we don't know about. But at least they're like, okay, she's a problem right now. She's very strong. We're going to reduce the radius of it right now as kind of a temporary fix until we can actually sit down and look at Kestrel as a character overall, as opposed to like, well, we're going to keep tweaking her update after update after update after update until the community is happy enough with her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Fixer syndrome. They tweak Fixer almost every single update for 2 years until now he's like got a completely different passive and still broken, you know, like, so.
I mean, I didn't feel like he was out of hand. All they had to do was fix the tier and the gunsmith, and like that was all it was. The character himself never needed to be fixed, and all his abilities.
Right. So we'll see what happens to our girl Kestrel in the future. But they did change some perks up here. So for Life Drain, for the epic version of Life Drain, it reduced the healing amount from 40 down to 35. And for the legendary version of Life Drain, it reduced the healing amount from 60 down to 50, which is a pretty significant reduction, especially in the legendary.
Well, I was about to say for legendary for sure.
Yeah. But Life Drain has been a problem perk like since day 1, in my opinion. Like, it's a very strong perk. It's very strong. Right. And back in the day, it used to do 80. You know what I mean? Like before.
Yeah. And there's only one character that can really counter that perk.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You only have one character.
Yeah. So with this getting a pretty decent, they're not doing anything to the rare version of Life Drain because I think it's only 20 HP that you get back, which is still really low. It's almost like take the rare version out and just have epic and legendary versions, because it's almost so insignificant to the, like, you can shoot someone with a lot of weapons and do almost 20 damage to them with one bullet. You know what I mean? So that feels almost like completely negated depending on what you're playing against. But the 35 and the 50 going forward is still a good chunk, but it doesn't feel like it is like over healing someone to the point where Lancer can just continue to mow through people, you know?
Oh yeah, burning people down 24S, making it look easy.
Yeah.
With one toughness.
Right. So Gunsmith is receiving a cost increase. It's going from, at rare, it's going from 5,000 to 6,000. Epic is going 7,500 to 8,500, and legendary is going from 10,000 to 12,000. And Gunsmith has been kind of a problem perk since they added it into the perk rework thing that they did a while back, where, like, I mean, it gives you so much of a benefit to not only like your ammo count and like your clip, but also your range. Whenever it like takes care of that range fall off of the weapon and increases the range of the weapon, that's when you really see it. And I think the Gunsmith changes kind of go hand in hand with some of the weapon changes that we'll get to a little bit later. But I think that this is a good direction to take that perk because of the benefits of the damage range increase on it. So for shredder rounds, this is removing the bonus ammo reserve part of all levels of shredder rounds. So the way that shredder rounds worked before was like it did increase damage to armor and deployables, and it also gave you a bonus ammo reserve. So essentially you would have more ammo in your pocket if you needed it. They're removing the bonus ammo reserve part of that, but they are increasing the damage that is being done at all levels to armor and deployables, also with a price increase. So for rare, it's going to be doing 15% damage, increased damage to armor and deployables as opposed to 10%, but the price is going from 5,000 to 5,500. For epic, it's going to be doing 20% increased damage opposed to 15%. And it's going from 7,000 to 7,500. And then for legendary, it is going from 20 to 25% increased damage to armor and deployables. And the price is also increasing from 9,000 to 10,000. This is a really, really good perk. And it makes more sense to purchase this perk, even though they're just increasing everything by 5% because of how prevalent armor is in the game currently. And I think that this is going to sway more people into buying this perk. And legendary is going to make more sense now with that bonus 25% for people like Kestrel that have access to the legendary so that they can peel that armor away a little bit faster. So I'm not mad at it. And increasing the price makes sense in my opinion. The bonus ammo reserve is kind of like iffy in a way.
I mean, that's copying Gunsmith. So like in real reality, we already got too many perks that are almost the same, so it would just make sense to go ahead and take that away. Make you kind of force you to buy Gunsmith if the character carries shredder rounds and Gunsmith.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, so that way they're not like running around with an SMG with almost 70 ammo in the main reservoir.
Yeah, exactly.
Just burning people down.
Yeah.
As a 24S, I think when you get Gunsmith with it, it's like 52.
Yeah, which is insane.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Especially with considering how accurate it is and how much damage it does.
Oh, yeah. As of recently, yeah, it's a really nice SMG. It's been running real smooth for me.
Yeah. So on to the weapons. So this is where things start to get very interesting. So for the D40C, the hipfire accuracy has been reduced from 0.915 to 0.85. The crouching accuracy modifier has been removed. The in-air accuracy penalty has been reduced. The ADS accuracy modifier has been reduced from 0.075 to 0.05. Bloom has been increased. Bloom recovery has been increased. Base range reduced from 12/25 meters down to 8/17 meters. And the level 2 and level 3 upgrades have been swapped. So the level 2 upgrade will be recoil and reload speed, and the level 3 will be range and jump accuracy. And I got in the PTS and tested this out, and I also streamed it to you guys so that you guys could actually see how the D40 is going to act in the future update that is coming out. And it feels very much more SMG like, and also it feels very much skill based at range now. It's not a laser beam anymore, guys. Like at all. And then the bloom recovery speed, just so everyone is aware, because this is something that I had no idea about. So they increase the bloom. So as you shoot, each bullet adds to the bloom that you have for the weapon. And whenever you stop firing, that's when your bloom recovery starts to happen. So basically what happens is at ranges, so that you don't get crazy astronomical bloom all over the place, you're going to want to control your trigger and fire in bursts to be able to maintain accuracy at ranges, which is how SMGs should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this is a good change that is putting the D40C in the right area that it needs to be, because right now, since the LMPX, got that nerf, quote unquote nerf a while back, the D40's kind of been running rampant, and it feels like instead of just reducing the damage of it or reducing the range of it, they're actually going in there and like adjusting how the weapon is acting in game to be more in line to what SMGs would realistically act like if you were in a combat situation like this. And like I said, it adds a higher skill ceiling to it, right? Because you're going to have to master the trigger control. You're going to have to master, okay, at what ranges am I going to be able to succeed with this and be able to burst enough damage out to down someone? Is it worth giving my position away? Like it's going to make you think a little bit more tactically than like, I'm going to run, gun, go, burr. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how it is right now. You give someone the D40C and you give them a character like Chalk or someone like that has a lot of HP and has a lot of abilities based around surviving, and they're just going to wreck you and run all over you time after time after time at any range. I mean, they're outperforming assault rifles and DMRs currently. So I don't mind this change. Based off of what you guys saw whenever I was streaming the PTS stuff in the shooting range, what do you guys think about it?
Interested to try it out.
Yeah,
Same.
I want to see how those SMGs perform, because they look like they're performing way more like SMGs.
Right. And I like the idea of like adding more skill to some of these weapons, because you can, like, in the LMPX is next, as you can see, and we'll get into that in a second, but you can still be really good with it, really accurate with it. You just have to know how to control the weapon, how to use the tools that they give you to control the weapon,
Mm-hmm.
So for the LMPX, the hip fire accuracy has been reduced from 0.915 down to 0.83. The crouching accuracy modifier has been completely removed. The in-air accuracy penalty has been reduced. The ADS accuracy modifier has been increased from 0.075 to 0.09. Bloom has been increased. Bloom recovery has been increased. The base range has been reduced from 14/26 meters down to 9/19 meters. The base magazine size has been reduced from 30 down to 25. The level 1 upgrade increases mag size to 30 and increases reload speed to 1.35. And the level 3 upgrade increases aim accuracy and reduces recoil. So the LMPX is still going to live in a world where it's going to be very much like ADS, shooting people from long, mid-range to like somewhat long range, but being able to control your trigger, control your shots and everything whenever you're firing at that longer range. So it's still going to live inside that niche that it already occupied. It's just not going to be as good at hip fire as some of the other SMGs are going to be, So it's looking pretty good, and it's crazy. Like they're reducing the base magazine size down to 25.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really good. Yeah, that's really going to put you in a position to where you're absolutely going to have to learn that weapon from range to be able to capitalize on that 25 to 30 round magazine size, So for the arbitrator, this is something that a lot of people has been wanting to see changed, and I think that this might give us the changes that we need here. So the fall off ranges have been reduced. So for base, rare, and epic, it's going from 9/15 meters down to 7/12 meters. And the legendary fall off ranges have been reduced from 11/17 meters down to 10/15 meters. Fire rates have been reduced. So at base, 3.33 is the current fire rate. It's going down to 2.5. For the rare, epic, and legendary versions of the weapon, it's going from 4.44 down to 3.33. And the reload speed has been increased. So at base, it's going from 2.4 to 2.8. And rare loses reload speed upgrade, but the epic and legendary versions of the weapon is going from 1.8 to 2.0. So it's going to knock off a decent... Oh, okay. It's going to take it from 2.8 to 2.0 whenever you upgrade it to that epic legendary level, which I think is, I mean, I'm fine with that. Like, I tested this out in the shooting range as well, and you're not going to be able to do pop, like in very quick sequence, right? There is a little bit of like a readjusting period in there based off of the fire rate. And at like 10 meters, depending on who you're going up against, you can't two-tap them anymore with the arbitrator. You have to get a little bit closer to be able to two-tap someone. If you get headshots, then you can two-tap them. And then, of course, that range gets extended whenever you upgrade the weapon, so it provides more incentives for people to actually upgrade the weapon to run it kind of the way that they used to run it, but it's still not going to be... It's going to be better at the legendary level than it is, of course, at all the other levels, but it's not going to be as good at the legendary level as it is right now in live, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fine with that. Like the reload speed, you can really tell that the reload speed for the weapon has been increased, especially if you run the weapon a lot with characters that don't have like replenish or roll reload with Lancer. Once you get into that idea of like, okay, it's going to take me X amount of seconds to reload this weapon, I can pop 2 shots real quick back to back, get into cover, and it's going to take me enough time to reload where I should be able to either re-challenge it, or if someone's pushing me, then I can try to get into a better position. Now, until you learn it, at least from my experience, you're going to be hung out to dry a lot, which is fine. I mean, to me, that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I really think that this shotgun in particular, the arbitrator, is going to be in such a better spot moving forward. I mean, it's still going to have the Lancer RB combo, but she's going to have to get so close to people with this thing. You're not going to be able to snipe people with it anymore, you know? And that's perfect for a glass cannon, in my opinion. No pun intended for cannon, you know? So, and then for the revolver, they are reducing the fire rate from 3.03 down to 2.5, and the reload speed has been increased from 1.6 to 2.0. So they're reducing the fire rate down a pretty decent chunk, actually, and making it something that isn't two-tap headshot down in people so fast that you have no time to react, you know?
I thought they buffed it.
Well, no. No. And it still feels very powerful. It still feels very viable. You know what I mean? It feels good still. It just doesn't feel like the dominant pistol that everyone...
And cannon.
Yeah, right. And for me, I like the slower fire rates to some of the weapons because, I don't know, that
helps you reset.
Exactly,
you
right?
know.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to reset from time to time, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I'm okay with that. And as far as the mid-season update or the mid-patch balance for Mad Mercenaries, we've got some really good, interesting things, and it looks like every problem thing that I can think of as far as like game balance is concerned is getting addressed. Like Mac getting addressed. They're throwing Cannon in there to try to to change him up a little bit. Kestrel's a problem getting addressed. Life Drain's been a problem for a long time, addressed. Gunsmith is getting a price increase because of what it can do. Shredder Rounds is getting a buff. D40 problem getting fixed. LMPX still a problem getting adjusted. Arbitrator still a problem getting adjusted. Revolver still a problem. Like it's interesting that right out of the gate they're tackling for 2023. They're tackling a lot of these problem areas that we see. I mean, of course, there's more, but these are the ones that we probably hear about more so than others, right? I mean, I complain about like the revolver and the D4, the D40, the LMPX, and the arbitrator. So at least that's
I
where,
hate the revolver.
yeah. So
Yeah, chunk that right out of the game.
Nice to get some proper patch notes.
I know,
It's just
right?
nice to hear
Right.
it. Yeah.
Well
That's
thought
not
patch
out.
notes.
Yeah.
I mean,
First time in a while.
I wish
Yeah.
they would nerf that revolver a little harder, but it's
Well,
okay.
sometimes before they'd be like, it's been reduced. To what?
Yeah,
Slightly-
we
yes.
From
really
what?
slightly adjusted.
reduced. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Slightly adjusted which way?
Prove it.
your idea of slightly and my idea of slightly is two different definitions.
It wasn't enough.
Yeah, right. So I think that for the mid-season or the mid-balance patch, coming in strong with like, hey, this is the year, 2023 is the year of gameplay and gameplay focus changes. I think that we're starting out on the right foot here, personally. It's good to see them addressing the problem issues right out of the gate so that they can really like knuckle down and see what the issues with all of the things that need to be adjusted. They're like, let's get this stuff balanced out, at least for right now, so that people aren't just getting completely overwhelmed with like D40C all over the place or arbitrator all over the place or LMPX all over the place. Let's have people maybe try different weapons out as opposed to getting locked into whatever the meta pick is for the week, So I like it. I think it's good. It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah, it's just nice to hear just any type of changes.
And they're
Exactly.
fixing the Dallas thumbnail.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They'll have his own thumbnail now. Yeah.
The white suit Dallas. Yeah. Finally,
Future
right?
Tech Dallas.
Yeah. FT Dallas, Future Tech.
Ever Doc.
Forever. Yeah. Sometimes Noir Dallas.
Sometime.
Forever Doc, though. So next up here, we have a post by Mini White Rabbit. So this was posted on January the 18th, and it says here that yesterday was my last day with Hi-Rez Studios and Rogue Company. Some words. And then she posted a twit longer. And I am actually going to, it's so bright that I can't even find my cursor. I'm going to black this out. There we go. So yesterday was my last day with Hi-Rez Studios and Rogue Company. Some words. From the first moment that I interviewed with the community team at Hi-Rez, I felt respected. And after my interview with Valence and Alvin, laughing the whole way through, I knew that I'd found a new home. Game industry is not an easy choice. It's incredibly unstable, with layoffs occurring frequently and often coinciding with several studios. It's an industry where the phrase highly competitive is an understatement. The knowledge that you could be replaced with someone passionate and hungry looming heavy during your worst moments of burnout. Speaking of burnout, most community managers don't make it past 3 years in this business due to a mixture of overwork and abuse. It's difficult for anyone in this business to feel at home. 12 years ago, I found my first home in the industry, BioWare Austin. In 2021, I found my second home, Hi-Rez Studios. To say that I'm grateful to both of my managers at Hi-Rez is selling it short. To say that I truly cared about every team member I worked with is a vast underestimation. Each person I worked with treated me with respect, allowing me the autonomy to grow, learn, and realize how far I've come as a community manager. As odd as it may be, until Hi-Rez and Rogue Company, I knew I had a lot of experience, but I had never had the opportunity to make my own choices about how to utilize it. And I was hungry to do just that. Despite only stepping foot inside the office once, I grew more at Hi-Rez than I had in the past 8 years under other directors and with other teams. For over a year, I experimented frequently and often, worked long hours voluntarily, and lived and breathed Rogue Company. Perhaps what I'm most proud of are creators. You weathered many storms with us and put your faith in me and the rest of the team to find the way back to shore. I remember parsing every single one of your channels, adding each of you to the list of acceptances, and excitedly mailing you the note that you would often be announced on social media. I feel immeasurably proud of the camaraderie of you all. Please stay in touch and be kind to each other. This business is small and relationships are the most valuable currency you have. To my team, thank you for letting me grow, letting me share, letting me fail, and letting me learn with you. I will never forget demolishing a bowl of okra with Isaiah, laughing in the interview with Nick over the help me mug, teasing Harrison about being a secret god at golf, telling Alex C that I liked his melons, or learning from Daniel that my pronunciation of Schadenfreude was a bit off. To the community, thank you for your support and your hunger. Without you, there would be no Rogue Company. You're the oxygen igniting with the fuel that keeps the ship flying. I will never forget compiling spreadsheet after spreadsheet of your feedback, bugs, and suggestions. I will not soon forget about doing Discord stages with you all, pacing my office until my voice gave out. One word of advice, though, be a bit kinder to the development team. They want to hear what you have to say, but there is a fine line between criticism and being hurtful, which can turn anyone off from listening to you. Please stay in touch, and if anyone would like to chat with me privately, you know where to find me. So this has been what I would say the second big announcement as far as people exiting Hi-Rez, right?
Yeah.
First we have Pretty Hair, now we have Minnie leaving, and to say that Minnie leaving was a surprise is not... for me personally, it wasn't as much as of a surprise as it was when it happened, right?
Yeah.
Because like, if you follow Minnie on Twitter, you can absolutely see, a lot of the things that she has had to endure, for better or for worse, over the past however long that she's been with Rogue Company and that we've been in the know of Minnie. And she recently moved to the West Coast and all this kind of stuff. So it's something that like kind of had a gut feeling about it, whenever all this stuff started happening, whenever all these wheels started turning. But I was kind of surprised by it happening so frequently. But at the end of the day, I think that, if she feels like it's the best decision for her and she's going to better herself, then, who am I to judge? I recently left a job, started a new job. I get it. Sometimes you need change. You need to do something different. You need to get away from everything, So I get it. And I wish her well. I mean, she did a lot. To be fair,
she also hand-plucked you to be part of the
exactly, yeah,
program.
Exactly.
You got your Hi-Rez mini letter, right?
Oh, I got it. I framed it. And I mean, I talked to Kristen a couple of times, like through DMs and on Discord and stuff, and always been very nice, very respectful. I've always been very nice and respectful to her, even though, I can come off and we can collectively, as the broadcast, can kind of come off harsh to some people, but
we've always been nice to many.
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
on the podcast.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just how people from our area of the world sound to a lot of people. Because I mean, we're very direct. You know what I mean?
Oh God.
And that's the thing. Like, we grew up to where like our parents, especially our grandparents, were very direct. They did not
no beating around the bush, dude.
No, dude.
Yeah,
and I can't stand when people do it.
Exactly, right. So that's just a product of our environment that's kind of transcended into what this is. And yeah, to say it's harsh, it's like, no, I mean, you're going to know exactly where I stand regardless of the situation at all times,
Not.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, slam that.
So
we praised her many times though.
Yeah,
we have.
And she did, like, with the fireside chats that she did with, trying to gather feedback, not only through Twitter, but Reddit, other various outlets for Rogue Company, surveys that she's put out, polls that she's put out, like everything. Yeah. The board.
She's definitely done more than any community manager we've had in this game so far.
Exactly. Right. So I'm happy for it, and I'm happy for what she's been able to accomplish. And like, I can't imagine, like, to be a community manager, even though I've never been one, does sound like it's very stressful in the same way that like working the return area at Walmart sounds very stressful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Community service.
Yes, it sounds very stressful because the squeakiest wheels are always the loudest, and that's all that you hear as the community manager. You hear all the bad, all the negative, all the problems, all the issues. How often do you have someone that's like, hey, I just wanted to stop by and say you're doing a great job? Like that never happens. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine, you know, the toll that it puts on their staff, the community manager staff. But she did a great job. She handled everything like a champ. And good luck. Good luck on your future endeavors. And we wish you, Broguecast wishes many well. So next up, we have a very interesting post here by Mr. Brad, BP Brad, Braddock, Brad UK, Brigadier Brad, B-Rad. I'm just going to keep going with it. You know what I'm saying?
Bradley.
Yeah, Bradley. I think it's Sir Bradley now, right? Didn't he get knighted? If he gets knighted, I'm flying to the fucking UK and watching that shit, dude. So live player count on Steam have almost doubled in the last month for Rogue Company. And there's a picture here. So this is the Steam charts, and this does have line graph information on it where it shows the fluctuation of players based off of like the lifetime and also the past month. And it's very interesting because there's a couple of times like in the past, like from January the 19th to January the 25th. Yeah. It got above 2,000 concurrent players, which is pretty good for Rogue Company. I mean, especially
Yeah.
That's a large increase for them.
Especially whenever they've just released a new game, you know, the concurrent player count on Steam for the longest time floated somewhere in the ballpark of like 750 to 1200 constantly. Like it would fluctuate, but it would be somewhere in that ballpark. With it reaching over 2000 is like huge. And then not only it hitting over 2000, but also still maintaining that this long. And I think a lot of it has to do with what we're fixing to get into on the next topics. But that's great. I mean, the more people that are interested in the game and playing the game, and that's just on Steam alone, is going to help in many, many ways. Like it's going to increase the matchmaking consistency. It might bog the servers down a little bit, but that's a whole different, you know what I mean? Like that's a whole different situation. But it's also going to allow people to get in there and like, oh, we're going to use, LMPX. LMPX is broken and we're going, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, but that's great. I'm happy to see that and I'm happy to hear about it. Here's what doesn't make sense to me though. Why is Brad using Edge?
I saw that.
I don't understand.
I started to bring that up the other day and be like, that motherfucker's using Edge.
Yeah, what? Brad, come on, bro.
Now, the new Edge is pretty much Chrome.
Yeah, but
It's
still,
pretty much
though,
copied Chrome, but still, you can't get no ad block on that. Well,
I mean,
when I saw that, I was like, no.
Yeah, I know, dude. I'm gonna have to send him a DM or something.
The only thing Edge is for is to download another browser.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah, and then you try to uninstall it, you know, and it won't let you. It's like, nope, we got to keep this on here.
I can at least remove the icon.
Yeah, that's the most concerning thing about this.
I was like, is he using Edge?
Yeah, it's like, what is this? And he's also watching a video rebuilding a cheap BMW.
Yeah.
So, like, let me know how that turns out, Brad. Oh, Brad's rebuilding in his garage. He's rebuilding cars.
My man's just using Edge out there, living on the edge, running the edge, dude.
Yeah, dude. I mean, come on. So next up, and this is going to kind of segue us into the community section just a little bit here, but next up we have a post by, I don't know how to pronounce this dude's name. Is it Guy and Luz or G and Luz? Luz? I don't know. Rogue Company Discord today was interesting and exciting. I'm curious and eager to know what comes in the future. So they have a post here, and I'm going to read through some of these. So these are from Jared in parentheses design lead. Hey, hope everyone is having a good Monday. There'll be a more formal message in the near future, but wanted to kick off the new week with this. We are here, we care, and we've got some work to do, don't we? I look forward to chatting with you all in the future. And then in response to a post, Jared said, totally understand. I plan on earning that trust back. Things are crystallizing on our end, and we'll have a better answer for you and what we can commit to and share. There's definitely a long overdue balance patch coming for 2.9. That I can say for certain. Then another response says, thanks, I'm doing well. New opportunity and challenge has been set before me and my team. Excited for it. I'm definitely aware of the sorry state we've left you. I apologize on behalf of the team for that. I have a big list of things to do for Roco, and one of them is reconnecting with the community, players, creators, the whole thing. I have a direction for it in mind, and I hope you are all looking forward to that odyssey of a journey. And then another response from Noob. So Noob said, Mr. Jared, our fears that Roco will end. We love the game and we need you to communicate what is. And then it cuts off. It isn't ending. We've got work to do and definitely want to be clear in our communications, either directly from me or with our community team and board members. I can't always be available to respond to everything here as I'm focused on the game, but I'll pop on sporadically. I'm always watching though. Can't share what our plans are yet, but soon. So, and this tweet was dated January the 16th of 2023. So there's been a lot of stuff that's happened since the last episode of the Broguecast. But so apparently Jared is the new design lead for Rogue Company. And based off of this information, he's got a lot of work that he wants to do specifically on the game. He also wants to bring everybody in the community along for the ride. And that goes as far as like getting feedback on things, sharing experiences, letting them know what works, what doesn't work. Very, very interested and very, very hungry about trying to put the game in a better spot based off of all the information that I've seen. And it's been a very long time since we've had someone that is in the design world or in the developer world or environment that has been this active and this caring about the game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very much overdue, like to the point where like people were jumping ship. People were saying that the game, which people are always saying that the game's dead or the game's dying, but to the point where people were unsure of what was going to happen going forward, if the game was going to get shut down, if the servers were going to get cut off, if they were going to continue supporting it and just leave it the way that it was and not do anything, you know, super extreme to the game. And these responses, this information that was pulled from the public Discord just assures all of us that like we're listening, the developers are listening, and they're wanting to make the changes that need to be made for the game, for the longevity
Definitely
of the game.
puts an ease in my chest for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Because like being in that limbo state where you're like, what are we going to do? Like, are we going to exist in the world and it's going to be the way that it is now, to where these weapons that are problems are going to be the problems and they're always going to be the problems and it's going to be what it's going to be for forever. You know, that's a bad feeling, you know?
Very.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this topic is going to dovetail over into the community section just a little bit, as it does feature responses about specific things from the public Discord, from Jared specifically. So let's just go ahead and head over to the community section.
Skirt.
All right, guys, this is the community section of the unofficial Rogue Company podcast. If you want to contribute in any way, you can hit us up on Twitter at Broguecast. You can shoot us an email, broguecast@gmail.com. Or you can join the Discord. There is a section in the Discord for Broguecast contributions. And first up, we're going to hit it over here with a post by Exchangeable Fat. Weekly contract, rewards getting buffed, and bug attempting to be fixed. So this is another screenshot from the public Discord server where someone posted dead stretch posted, "Are we just shit out of luck in our weekly contracts progress reset?" Jared said, "Still looking into it. Not a whole lot of data to go on. Sorry. I don't like it, and I do want it fixed, especially because I'm slightly buffing the rewards in the future." So the weekly contracts haven't been in the game all that long. That was one of the last major updates that came out talking about or adding in the weekly contracts. And I mean, there's been so many people that's come to me and it's like, they keep resetting. Some people come to me and they're like, I do all of them and get the box and they reset. And then I do them all again and get the box. And I'm like, how is that a bad thing? Like, you can just farm the drops. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is that bad? Like, anyway, so it's good to know that the development team is looking into seeing exactly why the weekly contracts are resetting, but they're also going to buff the rewards of the contracts in the future. So, like, what can that look like? Like, are we going to get an increase to reputation? Is it going to be the better supply drop they're going to increase in there? Or, like, maybe a system kind of like the daily login rewards, where if you complete the weekly contracts, you know, X amount of weeks, then it gives you something like super cool or, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of ways that they could go with that. And I'm not a contract hunter. You know what I mean? I'm not someone that's like, I want to drop in and do all these weekly. Yeah, I don't want to do the weekly and daily contracts. That's not the experience that I want at a Rogue Company. But if they put something in there that's like, I got to have that, you know?
Yeah.
Then that's a whole different story. Like getting that white supply drop that's just got like an avatar or whatever in it. I'm just like, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But if they're going to put like a really cool skin or something in there, you know what I'm saying?
Where we dropping? You know?
Yeah. Where we dropping? Vice, you know, defending side. So next up, we have another post by Exchangeable Fat. Fixing ranked games is on the high priority list. So what you're currently suffering is a symptom of a larger problem that I want to approach from multiple angles. I'd like to pursue solutions that can grow the ranked population, as that can directly help with match health. This can be done through many forms, which I will exercise, like improving the player's path to mastery, fixing balance, improving the core mode, improving the progression, and incentives for ranked. At that point, I'll do a deep dive on our matchmaking formula to better understand it and see if any adjustments can be made. Trust me, ranked is on my high priority list. Keep an eye out. So ranked kind of falls in line with weekly contracts for me. It's like the ranked experience is not much different than like the current public demolition or public strikeout experience, other than the bans and also draft pick, right? And you get a pistol round in demolition, you know, like that still happens. It goes to 7. But like from our experiences playing like qualifying matches, playing a couple of ranked matches here and there, you're just as likely to face off against a sweaty try hard team in public matches as you are in ranked matches.
Mm-hmm.
And more so, it feels like you face off against more sweaty try hard teams in public matches than you do in ranked matches. So like, we're not the only, or at least I'm not the only person that has the same sentiment that like, why play ranked when you don't really get anything out of it? And you're not playing consistently against better teams to get better at the game. It's just kind of a mix mashed hodgepodge of like whoever's queuing at that time, you know?
I was about to say right now we're kind of like in a unbeatable streak. We've been tossing some salads lately. I'm just saying. We'll be playing some rogue. We'd be hard to kill.
A lot of people leaving. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, so they'll be leaving, dude. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying, like, the games haven't been like all night. We get bodied. Instead, we're doing all the bodying, and maybe the matchmaking is just giving us all these new players. So like,
I have noticed new people.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not.
Not the same over and over again.
even on our team, like they'll
Yeah.
like we'll get the one rando and it's as new as he can be.
Yeah.
You're like, what? But then we'll carry him all the way to the dub. Be like, there you go, kid. There's
Yeah.
your win.
Or like you're like, hey man, maybe don't like fall in that hole every time. And
Every
then
time you
then they
walk over
leave.
there,
Yeah. Then they leave. It's like, okay.
He's like, well, we were trying to help you, but
Well, and like not only that, but like I don't think that there's penalties in ranked at the moment for people leaving the game. Like I think that you still lose RP if you leave matches, but I'm not 100% certain. But there's no deserter penalty. There's no repercussions for people leaving. So if I'm going to play something where there's a high probability that someone's going to leave the match, why the fuck do I want to have to try extra hard in ranked again? Like, dude, when we played our qualifying matches, I would say probably 8 out of the 10 matches that we played with our qualifying matches, every person on the enemy team was level 550, had all the rogues mastered, like have been playing the game for as long as we've been playing the game, and specifically playing ranked playing ranked demo and public demo is two completely different beasts. You have to approach them in different ways, for the most part. And like, we want to, like, if I hop in ranked, I want to learn like the intricacies of ranked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to learn the little nuances and the little things that come with learning the rank system for demolition, and not just like, I'm going to like deadhead run to cannons and like hold cannons until we are able to plant the bomb. You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever. Like, it's a little bit more complicated than that when you're playing like against competitive players.
To be sweaty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but since ranked is on the high priority list for like not only like bringing more players into ranked, which will help the matchmaking, and also improving the player's path to mastery, which I'm guessing is like how you gain RP, how RP is rewarded or taken away from you, and also fixing balance, which would be balancing everything, improving the core mode, which sounds like possibly a game mode shakeup as far as like maybe in demolition, like some of the zones get moved around, or like the plant zones, or maybe it's condensed down on some maps to one plant zone, or maybe there's like 3 plant zones, like shaking the game mode up just a little bit, the core mode, improving the progression and incentives for ranked. Like, that's exactly what people want. Like, if you get rogue rank in this season, you get a skin, like a weapon bundle. I don't even know what the bundle looks like.
But wasn't there people that didn't even get it?
Yeah.
Like they would complete it, never get it.
Yeah. So, and that's
I'd be
a problem.
mad as hell, man.
Yeah, I know. Grind out. Like, if I
put yourself through that kind of stress.
Exactly. Right. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of changes, but at least the developers are aware of that, and they're wanting to approach it. They're wanting to tackle it from different directions, and then take a deep dive on how the matchmaking for the game works, like on that side of the development team, like not just looking into it, understanding how it works, and maybe making fundamental changes to not only ranked matchmaking, but matchmaking across the board, That would be huge. Like, the current MMR scale just isn't working because I don't feel like it is keeping player retention for new players. It is what it is at the end of the day. So next up, we have another post here by Exchangeable Fat. Exchangeable Fat be on it,
Yeah.
The fixer may or may not be reworked again in the future. So this was the post here. This is from Jared. Once again, we will come up with a solution, whether it is to revert or go in a new direction. I meant feels bad for the victims. We have to consider both sides of the experience. Old passive was a feels bad passive, but my team and I will revisit him down the road when I start going through rogues. So this kind of falls in line with the Kestrel thing just a little bit, where like they're going to look at all the rogues, it seems like, as far as everything is concerned: weapons, kit, perks, active, passive ability, and all that stuff. And look, Fixer is fun to play, but his current passive breaks him in such a way that it's almost unfair. You know, like completely ignoring armor, especially whenever you're going up against like Mac, Dahlia, Anvil, Trench that lies.
Just go ahead and get you a Dahlia too.
Yeah, right. If the team that you're going against relies so heavily on armor, or if your team comp relies so heavily on armor, and one person picks a Fixer or one person picks a Fixer Dahlia combo, you're just SOL. Yeah, right. So, and dude, I still feel like that there is an opportunity for like a rogue to be made, like created around the idea of armor, whether it be picking armor up off the ground, doing different ways to regain armor. Like I would love that character in the game where it's like they're armor centric, all their perks, abilities, everything revolves around armor. And that's the armor character, you know. Maybe they ignore the armor when they shoot someone, or they gain armor back as they do bullet damage or something crazy like that. But like, I don't think Fixer's that character, you know? I think
there's a guy in the comments that's like, Fixer's the weakest rogue right now, low key.
I mean, how the
what?
No,
But he's not. Because his ideology is he doesn't run armor, so he doesn't have to ever worry about Fixer's passive.
Oh, he got
problem.
no upvotes.
Yeah, I see
Yeah,
that.
exactly. But I mean, is Fixer broke if you don't run armor? What if you're a person that doesn't ever run armor and you run games proficiently?
Well,
like, to be
mean,
fair, I
Yeah.
don't run armor with Trench. And like, I like running Trench, and I'm pretty good running with Trench, and I don't ever do armor.
you gotta think 9 times out of 10 though, if someone has armor, they're gonna buy it.
yeah.
And also 9 times out of 10, in any given game, there's at least one character that has at least 25 armor.
I wouldn't even buy it if it was 25. I'm just saying, like, it's very vague. It depends on the
25
kit.
I'll
armors.
take that bulletproof.
Yeah.
25 armors fucking.
Exactly. I'll take the bullet all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it
8,000
is.
for the rare. Is that
Yeah,
what?
for like the lightest one, which is not bad.
Yeah.
When you think about it, armor used to be only 25, right?
Yeah, all across the board, yeah.
All
But you
across
could
the board
repair it.
It was. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wish we could
See,
still do that.
What
At least
happened to
repair a portion
that?
of it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just
I think the
at
idea is they wanted to
25.
make max ability or passive a little more valuable.
Yeah.
Which it still would be valuable because it's
It
an instant
would.
repair as opposed to
Right.
you having to sit down and repair it.
Yeah.
It would be the same thing as Lancer doing the ignoring replenish instead she
Yeah,
just does the reload. It's the same thing. Yeah, it would
Yep.
have just been the same thing. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, which would I mean? Yeah, that'd be cool. Which that would probably help out honestly, because if all the characters can replenish their armor, that could help them in engagements against Smack. Not really in like respawn modes, because again, respawn modes are just chaotic. But in like definitely the one spawn respawn modes, yeah, for sure.
I think it'd be cool if they did the repair thing again. And a neat way to do it, in my opinion, would be like for every 25 armor that you want to repair, depending on what level your character has, it takes like 2.5 to 3 seconds to repair that 25 armor. Then you have to start again.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And
Because
even
it would take time and it would be worth it.
yeah. And even if it was something where they offered like a perk or something in the future that allowed you, like you can buy the armor, right? And then if they offer like a $2,500 perk or something where it's like, now you can repair the armor.
Yep.
That would be okay. Or
W.
what about the idea of like, you know how sometimes whenever you're playing against a Mac, he'll drop the armor?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How cool would it be to have a perk where whenever you thirsted someone that you down that has armor, you can pick the armor up off of their body and it gives you an immediate X amount of armor on that character?
But wouldn't that be like what Mac's doing? Isn't that kind of like what he's doing? He's kind of like getting them down, even though they don't have armor. But because he's getting them down, he's kind of like, you know. So wouldn't that just be copying his ability a little bit?
No, like
No, because his is instantaneous.
yeah,
Yeah, you
like,
would still have to grab the armor.
yeah, you'd have to
Yeah.
run over and pick it up. Yeah,
You have to
Okay.
risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mac doesn't have to run over to you. Say if he gets a long shot with you from across the map, he don't have to
depending
run
on
over there and
the-
grab it. He's just got it now.
Gotcha.
It's still his passive is still very valuable.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Because
Oh,
since
yeah.
with it being instantaneous like that and him having a bounce
The
back,
stack ability.
yeah, and stacking it, like it is
Mhm.
very powerful, and you can tank a lot of shit just by downing
Mhm.
people, you know.
Yeah.
And I like I like the idea of downing someone and then, you know, getting that armor back immediately that starts negating some of that damage.
Mhm.
It's such an interesting design for a passive ability. It's almost as good as an active ability in reality, which his active ability is like pretty terrible. So
Garbage. So
Yeah.
I guess that's the counter to that.
It
Yeah.
could be
Which helps
improved
it.
a lot.
oh, for sure.
The idea
Oh,
of an
yeah.
area flash is it's just so easy to just not get hit by it.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the
Yeah.
last time I got
I mean-
flashed by that thing.
For real,
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
Like,
The last time I
Yeah.
did get flashed by it, I was in a spot that I shouldn't have got flashed by it, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
really, all it
Well,
does
I
is
mean-
push people back and force. You know, you can kind of get a breath.
Yeah.
A little
right.
bit, yeah.
Like
So-
I think we've already talked about it before, but like I feel like if you just walk into that radius when he activates it, if you're in that radius, you should just be flashed, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
you're
say
in the
lighten
circle,
the
yeah.
radius a little bit, and if you're there, you will.
If you're in it, no matter what, you're flashed. Like if you're in that radius when he fucking drops that thing down and he does
That would-
you're flashed. That would just
that
make
would-
it better. Like
a lot more
God.
valuable, and you would still have the counter of anvil.
Yeah.
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 Oh wow. Yep.
Mhm.
100.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of people
Yeah.
seem to forget that you can't flash anvil because I see motherfuckers throwing flash grenades at anvils all the time.
I mean, I do it all
Yeah.
the time. It's just habit. Like you have a flashbang, you see somebody, you just have a habit to throw it.
Yeah, like
It's
throwing a
out.
fire grenade at a scorch,
Yeah.
and you see that immune,
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah.
Wasted that, and I gotta wait freaking 3 minutes to get it back.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get
It's for
another
sure
one.
Scorch.
Yeah.
She's
Sure,
on the
Scorch.
corner. It's for sure her.
It is for
Yeah.
sure.
So next up here, we have a post by Daniel ZH, a solution to surrender. I've seen many people talking about being on lead and teammates surrendering for no reason. Here's my idea for game developers. If a team is on the lead, only accept surrender if all 4 requests agree to surrender. And if they're losing, keep it as it is. That's it.
No.
I mean, that's a pretty good idea.
I like
I
the
mean-
majority of it. If you can get 3 out of 4, then that
I
makes
like
sense.
majority,
Because
but not like
you
all
can always
four.
get that asshole who's just like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to troll and keep you in this game that we're definitely gonna lose.
And they will.
Yeah.
Because there'll be that
Because
dude, you know,
they
the dude
know.
that stands in the back and does nothing, and he'll just deny that.
Yeah. And as soon as it pops up, it'll be like, no. It'll be the one person that we would actually want to leave, and they wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
Because they know exactly. So like an overall, like, it would just again majority vote. Like 2, like even if it's 50-50, it should be a win. It should be like we surrender. And I know that like sounds horrible, but like with us, it's not going to happen. But like again, it's those situations. But like if you're surrendering, it better be a good surrender. You better not be surrendering over just because you got killed by somebody.
Yeah.
Got a good shot on you or something like that, like legit surrendering. 5-0. I mean, let's surrender. You got it, dude. All right, you
Just
earned
because you're
it.
big mad.
Yeah. Like, calm down.
I still like the idea of kicking people.
I mean, dude. I mean, as long as I would love
That could be
kicking. Like,
abused
even,
though
like,
too,
even-
man.
Well,
Yeah.
It could
have
be.
a
If you get in
reason.
there and there's
Have a
3 guys
reason.
playing, and they're
And they all
here's the
agree,
new account
yeah,
guy, they're
it's-
like, just kick him out.
Just kick him. Yeah. I mean, that's happened before, I've come into a couple road games and had some people, man, just he's toxic, throw your blah blah at him, do this, don't listen to him, don't go over here, just go the opposite direction, then we all die. It's just like, wow,
What are we doing?
what are we doing? Yeah. I mean, many times. Just the exact opposite of what you say. Oh, let's go to B. I mean, how many times has that happened to you, Griffin? I know. We'll be like, Mark B. our one guy that's a rando goes straight to A with the bomb.
With the bomb.
Yeah.
For whatever
With
reason,
it, dies in the middle.
Yeah, dies in
Gets
the middle.
sniped.
We have to go get the bomb, and then
Yeah.
next round, for whatever reason, he somehow gets the bomb again, and we have to follow that character. Like, how many times?
I want the
lot.
bomb to spawn at the front of the plane
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
somebody grab it.
Yeah. I'm be quick with that in the
Yeah.
plane. Like, dude,
Yeah,
I ain't gonna
dude.
be screwing around much. Like, I'm getting in it and getting that bomb if they did that. Or like put it on the ground where you fall
Yeah,
in.
sure.
You know, like whatever. I don't
It's
care.
already down there.
Just don't give it to the newbie that don't know what they're doing, or give it to the person that's literally not cooperating with your team.
Or give it to everybody.
Ooh,
Oh,
what?
And then
I give
when-
everybody a bomb.
Cycle it.
Wait a
Cycle
minute.
it through.
Oh, yeah. That'd be better. Yeah. What's up with it? Just whatever map it is, it just gives you lowest level person. All right, here you go. You're going to
Yeah.
It would make a lot of sense.
give it to them
say-
first round.
Yeah.
It would make a lot of sense, say, if we're all playing that I have it round 1, Griffin round 2, Adam round 3, and then Garbo round 4, and then it would go back to me, or pick another one at random.
yeah.
For
It
the
doesn't
fifth
make
round.
sense how it works.
No.
It just doesn't.
You'll get it twice back to back. It's like, okay.
Dude,
There's been times that I've had it every round.
Yeah. Dude, I rarely get it.
Yeah.
Like rare. I don't know
You're
why.
right.
I rarely have the bomb. It's so
I don't
weird.
even
So
know
much
how that
so
works.
that we'll be halfway in the map and you'll go, oh, fuck, I have the bomb.
Yeah. Or I'll try to run up to planet and I'm like, wait, I don't have the bomb. Like, of course I don't, you know?
One of us is way away from the planet.
Yeah.
side,
I'm like,
fighting someone
Garbo.
like an asshole.
Garbo's
Oh,
like,
God.
oh yeah. He's back there sniping with fixers. He's like, oh, I have the
Just
bomb,
keep
don't I?
hearing Plant site clear.
Yeah.
Clear.
Yeah.
I have
Did I hear that?
Good.
I'm like, I'm on my way. I'm sorry.
The planet.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
Oh, I got
Many
it.
times.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. And it happens, dude.
Oh, it's not
Hang
you.
on,
It's
let me
not
take
just
these
you.
two out.
Fucking, I've seen
Yeah.
Travis do it a few times too.
Yeah, but
Griffin and Mark B, and then he'll be like, I'm gonna flank on A, and then he has the bomb.
It's like, what are you doing?
yeah. Come back, Trav.
So next up, we have a post by the Geek Next Door 44. TLDR, SBMM has to be priority number 1 if we wish to see Rogue Company survive. I get it. There's a laundry list of things that needs reworks, attentions, and to be fixed, but no amount of gun balance, new weapons / rogues, nerf this buff that will fix the matchmaking catastrophe. I would honestly play through 50 armor regen Mac, broken or brain dead Lancer RB combo, OP meta LMPX every match, if I knew that without a doubt the matchmaking would be properly skill based 100%. How, you ask? Because I've been playing through these issues. I've never shut off my game because I ran into the 100th Lancer with a shotgun, but every single game there are people leaving because they are outskilled and not having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Players who don't know that Saint has drones to revive. Players with a total of 5 elims, 0 downs, 320 damage, and 5 rounds of strikeout. And me solo queuing, screaming into the void of why I still play this game. That will kick this game before any of the aforementioned issues. It's not just once in a while. If I'm not at least 3 stacked, there's slim to no chance I would get a balanced team. I appreciate the attentiveness to the community as of late, but if this issue isn't taken care of, OGs will continue to jump ship and we will not be able to retain new players. Skill-based matchmaking has to be priority number 1 for this great game to survive, and not just with ranked, because if we are being honest, nobody is going to play ranked if they can't even make it out of pubs. So here is my take on this, and this might be a little bit controversial or whatever, but so to a fault, I agree. The matchmaking is absolutely a problem. The matchmaking is absolutely an issue in the game because of how open match actually works and how it tries to build a team comp based off of MMR. And the dude's right. Like, if they're not at least 3 stacked, there's slim to no chance that I would get a balanced team. That's right. Because, like, from my experiences playing the game, if I solo queue, the 9 times out of 10, I have 3 less than experienced players on my team, to say the least. And then normally the team that I'm going up against will have 2 to 3 decent players on their team. But 2 or 3 decent players can definitely outplay one good player, one very skilled player for sure,
Especially they're coordinating well together.
Yeah, and once they realize who's at the top.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because they're not a better shot. Yeah, just because they're not a better shot doesn't mean they can't work together.
Yeah. But I'm going to go out on a limb here, and this is where the controversial sentiment comes in. If all the weapons in the game, or if the meta weapons in the game are all laser beams, then how do you know what players are actually good at the game or just using and exploiting the meta weapons that currently exist in the game? That, to me, they kind of go hand in hand to some degree. If you have a less than experienced player that can pick up the D40 with someone like Chalk that has an overheal ability, and they can just look in your direction and hip fire it as long as that reticle is on them and burn someone down in less than a second, does that make them a good player?
No.
I mean, that's where the discussion comes from. If you run a Lancer Arbitrator combo with Legendary Life Drain and you get in behind people that don't know you're there and you 2-pump someone with the Arbitrator before they can realize that you're there, does that make them a good player? So I understand where Geek Next Door 44 is coming from, saying that the matchmaking needs to be balanced. But how do you know that these players are really good and really coordinated if all they're using is the same weapons that they see everybody else using and being successful because of how good the weapons are, how accurate the weapons are, how much damage those weapons do? You don't see a lower skilled player using something like the Hydra, for example, or any of the DMRs. You know what I'm saying? It's always the KA-30, the Sahara, or pick an SMG other than the Objection, right? And the Ibex, of course, but I forget that's an SMG sometimes. But you don't see lower skilled players running pistol only. You know what I'm saying? So how do you know what skill level you're playing against whenever everybody's using the same weapons, whenever everybody's using the same rogues, when everybody is using the exact same thing from match to match, and there's no change up, there's no, nobody else is coming in with something a little bit different that kind of changes the momentum of the matches and stuff up. It's the same thing.
That makes people want to leave when they get on there and just get shit on.
Yes.
By these stupid guns. Even if you are an OG player, you're like, fuck this game. This is bullshit.
Yeah, right. So, like I said, I understand where Geek Next Door is coming from, but like, if the patch notes for the mid-season patch for Mad Mercenaries is any glimpse into what the future of Rogue Company has to offer us as far as weapon balance, I would absolutely say that the people that have been coming into the game and just completely annihilating the enemy with these meta weapons are first of all going to be in for a rude awakening whenever that update comes out and they try to run the D40 for the first time. And second of all, they're going to have to relearn weapons, which means that their skill in game is going to go down astronomically until they find the weapon that feels right for them that hasn't been touched yet, right? And once they find that weapon, they're going to have to learn that weapon, learn the reload speed, learn the patterns of the weapon, the recoil and everything. And by the time they learn that, is that weapon going to be touched and changed? So I think that like once you start balancing the weapons and rogues and everything else out, then you'll actually see who the skilled players actually are. If you watch anybody streaming Rogue Company or uploading Rogue Company content and they're using the same rogues over and over with the same weapons over and over and just shutting everybody down, then are they really good, skilled players, or are they just exploiting the inconsistencies of the weapons and the rogues and the perks that already exist in the game?
Well, not those streamers.
Well, dude, we're always running.
Maybe people that use all the characters, like you, for example, that actually upload videos of all different characters of all different kinds, not just a Lancer main that's running Arbitrator, or it depends,
Yeah.
like they're again different players, man. But I mean, I get what he's saying too. I think it's 50-50. It's both for sure.
Yeah.
Which one needs to be weighed heavier on? Obviously, I don't know. I mean, weapons do need to be fixed for sure. I mean, the Lancer Arbitrator combo is still nutty as it can be. And I don't even know. I don't even know if the changes for the Arbitrator will still fix the Arbitrator. If does that make sense?
Yeah.
In her hands.
Yeah, in her hands. I mean, even in this upcoming thing, but at the same time, there's been many times for us we do get that one player, we do get that inexperienced person that gets the Saint that doesn't use the drone. Like we literally had it the other day. Literally was having to tell him use the drone. Like it's just so like this. Like I mean, it shouldn't be so lopsided in the matchmaking like that. Like he shouldn't be getting players that are doing being able to run Lancer Arbitrator, and then on his team get somebody that doesn't do a Saint drop or doesn't set trip mines because he's running trench, but doesn't use exploit his double gadget utility. Like it's just again it's just
a
very contradicting thing right there.
Yeah.
But again, I agree with you. I know where he's coming from, but again, and you're right. There are streamers that play the same character over and over, and that's their upload every video is always that character. Nah, man, no, dude. Play somebody else. Try not to roll around and get your reload, buddy, and we'll see how it goes then.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but we talked about Jared. He's the new design lead, right?
Yep.
So, you have design and balance is on an island, and then you have, servers, matchmaking, and all this stuff is on an island, and then you have cosmetics and purchasable things, in-game content like that, cosmetics things is on an island by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that balancing the weapons and balancing the game out isn't going to fix the matchmaking. Yeah, it's true to an extent, but at least that island is constructing a fucking lighthouse so that they can send signals to the other islands, let
them know where they at.
Yeah. Because I mean,
how many times have we seen somebody just be at the top of just shitting on everybody?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 45. He's just a level 45.
With
no big deal.
5K damage.
Yeah.
Either a new account or these guns are broken.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and look, man, I'm not poo-pooing on the matchmaking by any stretch of the imagination, because the skill-based matchmaking in Rogue Company, the way that it's set up sucks. I mean, just flat out, it's terrible. It's a dated, obsolete system that makes no sense in what skill-based matchmaking is today. And I 100% agree with that. But the balance of the game doesn't help that at all.
No.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to fix the matchmaking then have all these broken guns.
Exactly.
The guns need to come first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were broken, like the hip fire thing, all that, broken.
Yeah. So at least the person that has been putting themselves out there, not only in the Discord server, but also on Reddit and, on Twitter and things like that, is captaining the island that they're on and look, we're going to make changes that we feel is going to help the game in the long run. And maybe if we get everything in a good spot, then there's no other thing that can be done from a design or balance standpoint. Then it forces that to go on to whatever team handles the matchmaking,
Yeah.
So, that's me every day. Dot my I's, cross my T's. And if there's something that comes up, then I have proof. Here's what I did. Here's what I didn't do. And fact check it and then go back to the source of the problem. And let's see if we can fix that.
Fix it. Yep.
And look, man, I mean, I'll say this. I think that quick play and 6v6 TDM definitely doesn't need any type of skill-based matchmaking in those, in my opinion, because they're quick play queues. They're hop in, you don't care, you're running whatever you're running, you're just having a good time. Strikeout, demolition, and ranked definitely needs some type of better matchmaking system, in my opinion. Because, dude, I've played 6v6 TDM where you've got like 2 or 3 competitive players on the other team. And like, it's me and Rubio. I remember this on a Sunday. Me, Rubio, and a bunch of other people that were just getting fucking destroyed. You know what I mean? And you know, me and Rubio held our own, but 2 people out of 6 against like 2 or 3 competitive players. Like, come on, man.
We had a game the other night, dude. We tried our hardest.
Oh yeah, right.
There's nothing.
Yeah. So it is an issue, and I do think that at some point it will get addressed, but like, I don't think that it's right saying that the fixing the guns won't fix the player skill, because it will. If there's no skill involved in using a weapon and they're using the weapon,
it won't matter how many downs they get.
Well, then once they get adjusted, they're going to have to learn how to either use it based off of skill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of, the post kind of contradicts itself. So, but I do agree that matchmaking needs to be addressed at some point. And I think that it will. I think that once the reality starts setting in, I think that it will. So last up here, we have a post by Ghost of Slickville. Always like Ghost of Slickville's posts. Yeah. The current and future state of Roco. This was posted 5 days ago from the time of recording this. Disclaimer, this post is likely a TLDR. This is not a shit post, nor is intended to be a pessimistic rant or hate post. Also, the order of the points may be a little jumble in priority, as this is slightly rushed. Also, I should point out that I didn't play PTS and I'm not overly active in Discord, so some of this info may be off or outdated, which I apologize for. Weapon updates from recent clips and the PTS patch notes. It seems the LMPX took another nerf. Virtually, the gun is said to still remain accurate and somewhat range-based, but when ADSing the crosshair / reticle didn't change much. The bullet spread seemed atrocious. This is meant to be the more accurate SMGs, so what does this mean for the other SMGs that are more aggressive? Also, I saw someone mention this, and I fully agree. The LMPX has been hit with some hard nerfs already. It's dipped in usability and also popularity. So was it needed to be so early in rework wave 2? I think Jared said all weapons will be getting reviewed, but was the LMPX a priority over others? Shotguns, range nerf sounds nice. I just hope the SMG's rework doesn't put us back in some position / ranges of constantly getting shotgun blasted. Perk reworks. So there was a post earlier saying that replenish may be getting changed soon. To my knowledge, the change hasn't been revealed and is in speculation status. The only thing I can assume is that the mag will reload on down, but take from the reserve pile, which I feel it would then need a price change, but balancing the price may be hard due to it being better than Quick Hands, but not 3K better. Rework speculation too. The perk may now be similar to Gadget Cooldown, where you generate mags over time. Our Shredder rounds losing bonus ammo has been reverted after negative feedback. That sounds good. Feedback being listened to and acted upon. Something I want to ask rather directly continuing from the previous point, if something is changed and the majority of the community, say 80 to 90%, dislike it, will it be reverted? At least until a new suggestion can be implemented. I've seen many people ask for Talon's ability to be reverted and not many people be against it, but here we are, still in its newer form. Improvements and some bug fixes. First and foremost for me is servers. Somewhat constant micro lag causing delay in ability and gadget use. No registrations, and really annoying one is melee missing but still downing. No shoot bug, very old, very annoying, and still very active. Backfill sometimes doesn't work altogether, but if it does work, there is no access to the shop on your first life. Your ability is in full cooldown, and usually shop / cash doesn't feel high enough for joining mid round 2 of Strikeout. Somewhat trivial additions. Will we be seeing more fairly distributed skins over this year? Seeker and Talon barely got anything last year. New lobby music, return of some LTMs. Final note, I would like to thank Jared for the update and comments in both Discord and Reddit. You seem like a genuinely sound, approachable guy. I wish you luck with the future of Roco and the updates you have in store for us. Don't get burnt out, and please, whenever possible, keep us in the loop, not just in Discord, but in Reddit too. If you struggle to keep both community areas in the loop, please inform the board. Cloud has put out 2 good, informative updates today, and they are always appreciated. So, like, I respect Ghost of Sleekville's opinion because there's a lot
great post.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I feel like Ghost of Sleekville aligns with, like, our mentality on things, but there's also some other things that, you know, that don't exactly agree with. But I think raises a lot of good questions here. So, I mean, the LMPX took another nerf. Firstly, the gun is said to still remain accurate and somewhat range-based, but when ADS and crosshair reticle, bullet spread seems atrocious. The LMPX is still very usable right now in live at the current state. You can absolutely feel the changes that were made to it before, but the changes that were made to it before weren't enough to warrant moving on to other weapons. What happened? It was a placebo effect, and I talked about this in the video that I uploaded. As soon as people saw LMPX nerf, they moved on to something else, like immediately. You know, there was no waiting around. There was no, I'm going to run the weapon and then run other ones and see it if it feels better. No,
maybe that's where all that D40 came from.
That's exactly.
Start seeing that a lot more.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is the LMPX was good enough that if it took, let's say, a 30% decrease in its stats, it's still a formidable weapon.
Yeah, for sure.
It was the first one that I mastered, and I'm shit at this game.
So, I mean,
I still run it.
Yeah, I still run it too. Yeah.
Man,
Like
I try to use other guns.
Hairy,
I'm like, okay, guess I can't use this gun.
If shit gets hairy, that's my go-to. I know I'm going to do well with it.
Yeah. So, and it's absolutely a placebo effect, which is going to happen. Like with all of the weapon changes that we talked about in that mid-season patch, with the LMPX, the D40, the arbitrator, the revolver, it's all going to be placebo effects. People are going to hop into the shooting range. They're going to use the weapons. Then they're going to swap over to something that wasn't touched. They're going to see that, like, oh, this is kind of like the way that this other weapon was. And they're going to run with that weapon until it gets touched at some point, according to this post here, you know? So, like, it's all placebo effect based, which is good, right? And this is my standpoint on it. If they make changes to weapons in waves, as opposed to making changes to all of the weapons in waves, then you see the weapons that didn't get touched before, people will start gravitating towards those weapons and using them more. And then you'll really see the problems that weapon creates in game. Because the D40 hasn't been touched like in forever. I don't even know if it's ever been touched. You know what I mean? Like,
it's been a while.
It's been small changes here and there if it was, because the performance has been pretty well steady.
Yeah, it's been very consistent over the lifespan of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the placebo effect absolutely made it. Like, dude, before the LMPX changes were actually in live, I watched some of the streamers and comp players play, like, from their perspective, and they're like, yeah, if the LMPX gets touched, it's okay because the D40 still exists and they haven't done anything with that weapon. Like, they already know. They knew before the LMPX change happened what the next weapon was going to be, and was going to be the D40. And it's
always been a burner.
Yeah, always, dude. And
it's like the SLC.
Yeah. And
as long as you're within a certain range, you will rip whoever you're on.
It's still going to be, even after the update, it's still going to be a burner. You just got to be smarter with how you burn people.
I just imagine of Brad UK playing on the server.
Yeah.
Test server. And he was trying to show people the LMPX with the changes.
Yeah.
Now, he was up close to people, shredded the entire team.
Yeah.
Up close.
Right.
The way they've made it seem, and from what I've seen and what I've seen from you in the shooting range, is that they're going to perform more like SMGs perform in real life and in every other game.
Yeah.
They're meant to be like really close quarters combat to mid range at best.
Yeah.
And the LMPX has, when it comes to range and the damage at that range, it's on par with most of the assault rifles.
Yeah. And it outclassed most of them for a very long time.
And it's supposed to be like a hybrid between the two, sort of ish.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's going to have more range than the rest of the SMGs, but it still should be more than medium range at best.
Yeah. Agreed. 100%.
Not a laser.
If there's one thing I enjoy as a dumb redneck, it's like guns working in games like they would in real life.
Yeah.
It makes it feel more believable, and it makes me immerse in it a little more.
Right. Yeah. And it looks like that's the direction that everything is going to be kind of slowly gravitating towards. Let's put some real world logic behind some of these weapons and use it as a jumping off point to like actually balance them. Which is like, yes.
I know everyone's been mad about shotguns for a long time, and I could say maybe some of them can use like a damage decrease, but I think they all perform pretty well like a shotgun performs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With the one having the longest range being the pump action, and it makes sense because it looks like it's like choked up and everything.
Yeah.
As where everything else looks like it's just, especially the arbitrator. The arbitrator shouldn't have any range.
Yeah,
you should have to be right up on them.
Yeah. I think that a lot of the drawbacks or a lot of the issues that come with shotguns and Rogue Company specifically is because it's a third person shooter,
Mm-hmm.
because I can sit on a corner and wait until someone gets right up to firing range and
then just burn.
Yeah.
I don't do
Surprise,
more than hip
motherfucker.
fire.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
So I think that's where a lot of the frustrations with players come in, and it's like, look, man, like with the way that utility and stuff works now, like back in the day, there was no excuse for that to happen. Whenever you could double stack Semtex, you could throw them around almost every corner that you approached as a team to get anybody off that corner that has a shotgun. So I think shotguns have become more deadly because of the changes to utility in the game with the cooldown and not being able to stack utility and things like that.
But I think that all it makes you do is be more tactical, because the minute that you see someone go down with a shotgun or your teammate calls it out, you're like, okay, so I can't like hug corners as much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you find your way around it, or you go pick a shotgun. If you got a character who's got a shotgun, and you just show them what's what right back.
Yeah.
Give him the woofer.
Exactly.
The woofer, dude. And that's what I usually do. If I'm running my SMG with a character, or like with an assault rifle, and I get shotgun 3 or 4 times, I'm like, all right, it's shotgun time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. We're playing shotguns. All right.
I like to kill them and take theirs
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
and have
I
both.
like the same thing with sniper rifles. I love killing them and taking the sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Griffin beats me to it all the time. They'll be running toward it and he'll just snatch it. I'm like, all right.
And then I miss every shot.
I miss most of them.
So they're saying here that Ghost of Sleekville saw that there was a post earlier saying that Replenish may be getting changed soon. I mean, that is a very, 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 very strong perk in the game. Like, I didn't realize how strong that perk was until I was actually testing some of the because like you down someone, you get all your ammo and your gun back. And then whenever you thirst someone, you get all that ammo back. Not only does it do that, but it also puts your max ammo back up to max. So like it fully gives you all of your ammo. So if you're playing TDM and you're running chalk with the D40 or the LMPX right now, and you buy Replenish and Life Drain and use his ability, you never have to stop shooting. You never have to pick another weapon up off the ground because you get all of your ammo back, and you can just run train all over everybody. So like Life Drain is getting a decent nerf in the next update. I would not be upset if Replenish got some type of an adjustment to it because it is so strong. Yeah. Yeah. And then heard Shredder Rounds is losing the bonus ammo reserve has been reverted. So that's good to hear. So in the notes that we talked about earlier, Shredder Rounds is going to keep the bonus ammo reserve. And it's also, I guess, going to have the increased damage to armor and deployables. which is still going to make it a really, really good perk to use, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if you've got a heavy armor team or someone's running a trench or something.
Yeah, right. And then a good point here, you know, if something is changed and the majority of the community dislike it, will it be reverted? And that is something that I would be very interested to see what type of response from the development team would be, because like, you know, the TTK got reverted because the community was unhappy with it. The Shredder rounds got reverted because the community was unhappy with it. And like you said, Talon has been, you know, people's been asking about Talon's ability to be reverted, and that hasn't happened yet.
I'd like to see glitches reverted as well.
Yeah, right. So
I thought that he was a lot better that way.
You don't see a lot of Talon anymore either, do you?
No.
Not really.
No. See, they kind of they put a bad taste in people's mouth with Talon, I think, because whenever they did the perks, they redid the perks, they gave him, what was it, Helping Hands or Lifeline instead of Life Drain, and people were used to having some type of HP perk and he didn't have it, so they're like, yeah, I'm not going to be running Talon anymore. And the dart is like, the Talon dart is just a fancy sticky sensor.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Like, it can be destroyed. Yes, you can pull it back. Yes, you can throw it in different locations. But, like, what can Talon do that another rogue can't do better? And, like,
Back gloves?
That's it. But all you can do is pull weapons now. You can't pull the bomb. You can't pull gadgets. Yep. You know what I'm saying? You can't do anything other than pulling weapons that people drop with the mag glove. So, like, you're not really gaining any benefits out of having the mag gloves anymore, except for pulling the dart back.
I don't even use them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're not going to pick up the guns because you got weapon mastery. So most likely you're running the guns you want.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And,
so what's the point of his ability?
Yeah. And people can shoot the dart before you can activate the ability to pull it back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it just gives your position away.
Yeah, it does.
You hear it. Oh,
you just
he's
hear
over there.
Yeah, he's like, oh, he's over here. Yep. Got Talon.
Yeah. So if they're going to be looking at all the rogues and stuff, I'm really interested to see like what they are going to do, if they're going to do anything with Talon, because I love playing with Talon. I think that he's a great character. I love having access to SMGs and DMRs, you know, as your main weapon classes that you have access to. And like, I like the reveal characters. I wish that they would never have gotten away from the Intel character class, because I love playing with those characters. But like, you can't, like, Seeker is such a better character for reveal. You know, Phantom is a better reveal character, and she's not even an Intel character.
Not even.
So,
dude, Dema.
Yeah, exactly. You EMP on a corner and reveal something, like, dude, forget about it, you know? So, but this has been episode, what is this? 43?
43.
I went to the wrong room. God damn it. So this has been episode number 43 of the unofficial Rogue Company podcast. If you want to contribute in the future, please feel free to hit us up on Twitter at Broguecast. You can shoot us an email, broguecast@gmail.com, or you can join the Discord. The link will be in the description down below. There is a Broguecast contribution section. So if you have anything that you want to see us talk about, or if you disagree with something that we say or want to use it as a jumping off point or a topic in the future, you can hit us up on any of those locations and we will definitely address it. But for this episode, I'm here with Co Reed.
I'm here with Dirt Lord.
I'm here with Garbo.
And I'm here with Griffin.
And thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for watching. And we will catch you guys on the next episode. Have a good one, guys.
Skirt.